we came, my husband and I, and Katrina, we came to Plymouth. We're from Brockton. I mean, Stoughton. I keep forgetting I moved out of Brockton. Brockton is in me. But we live in Stoughton, so we came to pass flyers, and we were passing flyers on Main Street. What street is that, Maureen?
It's 4th Street, Main Street, yeah.
Right. So something told me, and I was my brother-in-law, we went into her business. The minute I opened the door, I was home. We connected. I gave her the biggest hug. She was sharing her purpose, her story, and I'm like, that's my sister from another mother, obviously. But it was just, the connection was so strong, and I know we are going through something great together. I don't know yet, it's unfolding, even now. Yes. All right, guys, so we have the amazing Sandra Giraldo. I cannot wait to hear about this lady. Sandra helps people live their best, healthiest life. Wow. She's a certified integrative nutrition health coach and detox specialist. Hi, Sandra. Sandra supports women with autoimmune and chronic conditions to utilize the power of nature, especially food, and transform their lives, thriving in a body that loves them back, right? Sandra is a graduate of the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, a detox specialist from the Health and Science Academy, and a licensed skin therapist, a member of the AADP, American Association of Drugless Practitioners, and I want to finish everything. She's awesome. And hold on. And the International Association of Health Coaches. Sandra is the owner of Enjoyful Foods, a company dedicated to offer delicious, highly nutrient foods to people with food allergies. And I've tasted her food, amazing. All right, Sandra, give it up for Sandra, guys.
It scares me. Yes, I'm scared to microphones, but my voice is so low that probably I need it. Thank you. So I skipped the who I met tonight because I knew I was going to be here. So I had the opportunity to talk with Donna, right? And I learned so many things from her. I learned that brown is trust.
Yes.
So she was like, oh, now I trust you because I have brown. So we were talking about colors, and it was very special, and about red and all the things, that I have for red. And I met Kim just in the last minute, and Kim loves to make green smoothies in the morning, and she puts a lot of good goodies there. So I was like, oh wow, she really is there. So I need somebody to take the time. I don't have PowerPoints to guide me in everything, but I want to have at the end some Q&A. So try to write down your questions, because probably what you are going to ask, maybe I can give you the answer during the talk. So just to get questions, it can make the thing just too long. So write down your questions. I'm gonna do my best because I don't know everything. I'm still learning, and I'm never gonna stop learning, but I'll do my best. And if I don't know, and it's very important for you, I promise I will research and I will get back to you. So write down your questions, and I don't know, maybe we'll give half hour to the talk, and after we can go for questions if we have a good amount. If not, I can talk a lot. So a little background about me, all the things that Daniel said, just like at the titles and all the school and all these things. But I think the most important part of every person is the life experience, and the life is what it takes you where you are, and what it makes you the person you are in that moment. And it's an experience that it never stops until the moment you die. Hopefully, that journey is constantly. So when I was talking with Dana, she said that suggestions and things about food. I said that is another journey. We change every single day. Every day we need different things. We just need to listen to our body. So I am a nutrition coach, yes. I am a detox specialist, yes. I am the owner of Enjoyful Foods, yes. But all those things are just the result of a journey, a life experience. And everything that happened in all that journey put me there. and it gave me the experience to help other people. That's what I really enjoy, is helping other people, because I went through a lot in my journey. I had really a lot of bumps and a lot of suffering with my body and with my mind and with my spirit. So that journey gave me those tools to help the women I help right now. So my journey started 28 years ago. That's the part I remember, that I make the relationship with the food and all the things that I do right now. So it started 28 years ago when I was diagnosed with IBS. I was 20, so I just told you my age. So I was 20 years old. I was in the university, a lot of stress, I was in a lot of pain, and I was diagnosed with IBS. So irritable bowel syndrome. So I had a lot of digestive problems. A week later, I was diagnosed with hypoglycemia. So from there, at 20 years old, I started a life of very restricted diet. So my life was all about diet. When I was diagnosed with hypoglycemia, I remember I had to eat 6 times a day. And I love to eat, but when it's forced, it works very different. So I had to eat breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner snack, and many times I fell asleep. And my mom woke me up at 10:30, 11 p.m. with more food. And I just didn't want to, because that would prevent my sugar to go down, and I was in a very rough shape in that time. So that was the beginning of everything, all my pile of things, because my life, I've been piling conditions. But I kept everything under control. I became vegan in that time, and that's when I was talking with Dana. It is a process, it's an evolution, and it's not being stuck in a philosophy or a thing because somebody tells you it's the right thing. So I became a vegan because the doctor in that time told me that meat was not good for my digestion. So I didn't know how to cook, I didn't know how to boil eggs, nothing, because my grandmother used to make everything for us. So the first thing I did was just going to school, to vegan school, cooking. And I did like 6 months of vegan cooking. Because I said, I want to be vegan, I need to learn how to cook. So I became vegan. And I sustained this diet for many years. But I had the chance in my country, I'm from Colombia, to take care of myself. I worked for myself. I was a fashion designer. I worked for myself, so I had the time to do things. When I decided to move, being a fashion designer, I moved to Europe, and I lived there for 6 months. There, my health started breaking down. In those 6 months, I started feeling more things coming, but I didn't know what it was. In Switzerland, I was eating tons of dairy and bread, tons of cheese, but I never, ever, nobody ever told me I have food sensitivities, that I have problems with food. Nobody, absolutely, even touched that in my process. So when I went back to Colombia, I was already not feeling good, but I didn't know what it was. So I continued with my regular diet. So I was eating cheese and bread and all these things. And after I decided to come to the United States for 1 year, that was 17 years ago, and coming to the United States, my lifestyle changed a lot. So I was going to school to learn English, and I was working as a tailor. I was working almost 60 hours a week. So I completely abandoned my health, my diet, my everything. But I still wanted to be vegetarian. I was stuck in that thing because my love for animals is so deep that I am vegetarian here in my heart. I didn't want to eat animals. So what I did was to go to the store and buy all these prepared vegetarian and vegan foods, thinking I was doing good for that. So I had a big breakdown about 14 years ago. I almost died. Really bad. Was extremely over-medicated. I was taking even medication for epilepsy because I was in a lot of pain, but I didn't have any answers. Nobody told me what I had. And many times it was in my head. So they started prescribing a lot of antidepressants. So I was taking even 3 antidepressants at a time. And it was a mess. It was totally a mess. And one day I said, no more medication. I can figure out this. and I went back to food. I went back to what I knew since I was a little girl. Food was very important. So I started exploring about food. I've been off medication for 11 years. Nothing. I don't take anything. I can't say I feel fantastic every day. I have bad days. I have days that my fatigue, it is extreme. I have fibromyalgia. I have eczema, and I had endometriosis since my 20s. So last year endometriosis won the war, and I had an hysterectomy. So I let it go. I fought a lot, but I let it go because it was killing me. It was killing my body. Okay, here women, we understand what it is to have your period for 2 years every single day. So I was extremely weak and anemic. So the anemia was so deep, I couldn't even move one foot to the other one. So I gave up and I said, okay, I was 47, so at 47, I don't think I'm gonna have kids. I'm too old for that. So I'm gonna let it go because I need to get better. So that's when we were talking. It's a journey and it's a change. And in that moment, I started experimenting with food. And by myself, I discovered that I have food sensitivities. When I let those foods go, that's when my health got better. My fibromyalgia is like I live a normal life. I can say sometimes fatigue hits me. And one of the things that I was told since little is that if you are not doing something, you are lazy. So that was always in my mind. So I was exhausted, but I didn't want to be lazy. So I was always trying to do something. So with fibromyalgia, with the fatigue that it brings, and sometimes the pain with the body, I learned to listen to my body. So if I had to sleep, I sleep. You know, if I had to be in the couch and just getting up to feed my dog, I sleep for 2-3 days, and I get better. So, and I just go back to my life. So it's listening to your body. The key to be where I am right now, when I am helping other women with autoimmune disease, and we can talk about autoimmune in a little bit, my experience helped me to help these women so they don't have to go through what I went through. I went through a lot. I went through a lot of pain, and a lot of pain here. Because when the doctor tells you it's only your mind, you suffer. And you really think it's in your mind. You really think you're creating everything. So I can tell them it's not in your mind. It is real. And we have options. And food can cure. One of the things that my teachers and everyone in the school, they say is that you can't say the word healing. You can't say the word cure because you can get sued. It's really difficult, but I don't think anybody's going to sue me here. I hope so. But food is medicine. Food can change your life. Food can change your body. Your body is the bridge between this world and the other world. It's the only thing that you have that you can have control of it. It's the only thing that you have that connects this world with the other one. It's the only thing that you can do something for it. And food is what it feeds this body. So we are in a society that food completely lost all the sense of what it is. So we were talking that for tonight we were going to talk about real food. And it's very sad that we had to talk about real food, right? Like we are in a moment in this society that real food has to be explained. That's very sad. It's very sad to know that diabetes was a disease for elders. That my grandma had diabetes when she was like 70, and that was unknown. It was a disease that was not meant to be for children. And now we have children of 5 years old with diabetes. That is sad. It is extremely sad that we lost our way, that we lost our pattern. And one of the things that one of my teachers, that he's very famous, Mr. Michael Pollan, if you have a chance to read a book something from Michael Pollan. He's amazing. He's a food revolutionary. And his books are all about food revolution. It's not about recipes because we all love recipes, but it's very interesting how Michael Pollan talks about food revolution because we have to start a revolution with food. So what he says is eat real food, not too much, mostly vegetables. And I say mostly vegetables. I'm not talking about diets. Diets don't work. When we get stuck in a diet, we get stuck. No. People ask me, what diet do you follow? I say, I follow Sandra's diet. I eat what my body needs. I eat what my body feels good with it. I eat what makes my body healthy. And yes, I don't like meat. I have to admit it, after so many years of not having it, I don't like it. But for my condition, I have to have some because I can't eat grains, I can't eat legumes. So what am I going to eat? So I have to eat something. So what I don't eat too much because I don't like it, but I have to eat something. So what I do is I honor that animal. I don't eat commercial meat, you know. So what the little amounts I eat is from an animal that was treated with respect, that had a life, that had some meaning for that animal, you know. That's other thing that our society completely forgot. We, to supply our needs that are not even necessary needs, we torture other species. We don't care about the life of the species, that life that is feeding you. We don't care the conditions that animal was raised. So that is what we call real food. We call real food when things come from nature, when things come from good sources. So other thing that Mr. Michael Pollan says is don't let corporations cook for you. We let corporations cook for us. The one cooking is the one that decides. If your husband is the one that cooks, he's the one that decides what you're eating. If nobody cooks in the house and you go to McDonald's, McDonald's is the one deciding what you're putting in your body. It's not you. Even if you're picking from the menu and you think you are deciding, it's not your decision, right? You are not cooking that burger. You don't know where it came from. You don't know the treatment of those animals. You don't know the chemicals added to it. You don't know the preservatives added to it. You don't know the artificial flavors added to it. You don't know anything. So you are not making a decision in that moment. So you don't let other ones, and even worse, corporations to cook for you, because believe me, they don't want you to be better. They don't want you to glow. They don't want you to be healthy because their business will be dead, right? And when we talk about the Food and Drugs Administration, you know, you hear about that, the Food and Drugs Administration is one association for both. They are connected. So corporations make us sick, pharmaceuticals prescribe drugs. That is it's so true. It's so true. Food and Drugs Administration manage both things. So food is a business for them. They're not interested. Zero. They are not interested in your well-being. They're not interested in the health of your kids. They make everything in a lab very well thought to keep you hooked. That's what McDonald's does. When they're going to open one of the stores, they study the neighborhood where it's going to be open. They love poor neighborhoods, and they love to hook the people in that neighborhood. They study the habits, they study the culture, they study everything. And they go to the lab, and they create that perfect burger to keep that mother with those children coming every single day, probably even twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. But one of the things that I ask you is just think, if you can buy a burger for $1, what is in it? If you can buy a burger for $1, what is in it? And they are making probably a lot of money with that burger. So that is real food. So when we are talking tonight about real food, it's think about that. It comes from nature. It comes from the ground. It doesn't come in a box to put in a microwave. That's not real food, right? So one of the things that I say that in my journey, when I discovered I have food sensitivities is when everything flipped. So every time I hear somebody saying, because everywhere I go, people ask me, I say for this, for this, for that. Oh, because we all want that answer. Tell me this because I'll do it. It's not that, you know. But I assure you, if you are stuck, if you don't feel good, if you can't lose weight, and you're trying everything, but you can't lose weight, if you get up in the morning fatigued, after you slept all night long and you still feel like you didn't sleep any hour, if you don't feel good, if you have aches, if you are depressed, probably food sensitivities are part of you. So you have to discover them so you can move forward. When it's a physical thing, even an emotional thing, you have to think maybe it's a food sensitivity. And it doesn't mean that you're going to avoid everything. So a lot of people, the question is like, oh, should avoid all allergens? I don't know. You know, we have to discover which ones. Maybe it's none. Maybe it's just the source of the food that you are eating, what is making you sick. Maybe you don't have any food sensitivity. Maybe you're not sensitive to gluten. Maybe you're not sensitive to dairy. It's the source that you are getting that dairy and that gluten from. What is making you sick? But the question of the century is gluten. So a lot of people talk about gluten, and people say it's a fat diet, it's something style, it's this, that. So what's the thing with gluten? Gluten is a reality. Gluten is real. And the problem is the gluten that we're eating right now is not the same gluten that our grandparents used to eat. Our gluten is different. And one other thing with our bodies is our bodies are genetically, it's a genetic information inside. Our body knows everything from millions of years, recognizes everything and recognizes what is natural for the body. So the gluten that we eat right now is a gluten that was modified. So it's a short gluten that is kind of stronger. So it is stronger to certain pesticides that the company that makes these seeds can sell to the farmers. So, right? So this gluten, this wheat, you know, the regular wheat, it grows high, so it gets the sunlight, it's thin, you know, you've seen it's thin and high, so it gets the sunlight, has the things that the body recognizes. So they created a new species to serve the industry. One of the things with this new species is not just that it's very low in nutrition, but 5% of proteins in gluten are new. They didn't exist in the gluten that our grandparents ate. So what happened? Because they are new, the body doesn't recognize them. So 5% sounds like that's not too much. For the body, that is a load of information. Even in a micro percentage is something that the body is not recognizing. So what happens when the body doesn't recognize something we are eating? It creates an inflammation response. It's natural. Inflammation is natural. Inflammation is a way for the body to heal. You cut your finger, what happened around the cut? It gets red and swell, right? That's inflammation, but that's the way the body is protecting that cut, so it's gonna start healing. So that's what happens inside when we eat these foods. And we're talking about the gluten, but we can talk about all kind of the pesticides that come in the food, all the preservatives, all the colors, all the flavors that don't exist because they need to make food very attractive. So it gets in the body, it's not recognized, creates an inflammation response. It's okay if it's here and there. If it happens here and it happens 2 weeks after, it's okay because the body is so fantastic it renews, it recovers, it heals, so it's okay. But what happened with us in our society? We have muffins, bagels, scones, whatever, for breakfast. Donuts for breakfast. Maybe we snack and we think, it's like I'm eating very healthy, so I'm having a granola or an energy bar. But it has wheat in it, right? It has wheat in it, and it's just one of the ingredients, because I can be all night talking about this. But we snack with a bar, so it has wheat. After we go for lunch, we have a sandwich, so we have bread. In the afternoon, we're hungry again, so maybe I'm in a diet, I'm just gonna have the 100-calorie Oreos, right? It's only 100 calories, so that's not a problem. So we grab the 100 calories Oreo little stack. We go home and we have pasta, yes, right? How many times a day we have wheat? And it's a wheat that has 5% of proteins that never existed before. So 5 times in that day, you are creating an inflammation response. 5 times in one day. And we go in the next day the same. And we go in the same. So what happens is the body breaks down. Because it's too much inflammation. It's too much of that, that the immune system gets crazy. And that's when an autoimmune disease comes. An autoimmune disease, as it says, is a disease from the immune system. And it's an autoimmune because the immune system attacks healthy cells. So the body has so much of this information, and we're talking only about gluten. But what about dairy? What about the pesticides? What about sugar? What about all these things? And it gets like the snowball effect. So the immune system gets so crazy that everything is an enemy. So it's boom, boom, and it starts recognizing what is good and what is bad. So it starts attacking healthy cells. Okay? So that's when disease comes. So the cells start getting attacked. So every autoimmune disease has a relationship with inflammation. Actually, every disease comes from inflammation. Cancer is inflammation. Diabetes is inflammation. Every disease is inflammation. So we see how much we are inflamed. Obesity is inflammation. Not losing weight is inflammation. We are in a constant thing of inflammation. You're not losing weight because you are under inflammation. So you need to calm down that inflammation. You need to calm down your body so your body can focus in losing that weight. So you need to figure it out. If you are in a moment that something is not working well, you need to think, what is it? And I was asking me, what is a healthy diet? I think I eat healthy. Healthy is not a thing, that you put there. This is what healthy is. Healthy is what works for you. That is the healthy diet. It's eating the diet that works for you. So, I'm very healthy, and I have steamed chicken with this, and what if you are adding something, some butter, and you are lactose intolerant? So that's when the diet is not healthy. So you can be eating things that in society are very healthy. We can talk about the green smoothie. Green smoothies are super healthy, right? But what if you have a thyroid problem? You can have goitrogens. And some greens are rich of goitrogens, like kale and collard greens and arugula are rich of goitrogens. So you have a thyroid problem and you are shoveling kale every single day because it's too healthy. It's really healthy, but for that person in particular, that person that has problems with the thyroid, it's not healthy. So that's when we have to think. It's healthy. So we're talking about my drink. Say, I have chlorophyll there. Well, that must be very healthy. It's very healthy. But you have lupus, you can't have chlorophyll from alfalfa. So it's not healthy. Right? Greek yogurt is super healthy, right? What if you are lactose intolerant? What if you are allergic to dairy? So it is not healthy. So we had to take that thing of just putting things in groups Healthy is what works for you.